Hello, gang. We are live after a hiatus of a couple months that felt like a year. But we
It did
needed
feel
it.
like a long time.
We
Was it
needed
just
it.
a couple of months?
It was.
It was.
Oh,
It was. I think our last show was what, Thanksgiving, just before Thanksgiving?
It was in October.
Okay, then. I hope y'all had a happy Thanksgiving, a happy Christmas, or happy holidays, and a happy New Year. But yeah, we're back. I'm Andy.
Or, I mean, at least you made it. You made it to today, and that's what matters.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. I'm Sherry.
Colette.
Yes.
Like you don't know.
And now we even have them. We have them right there on the screen, so we don't even have to say it anymore. We don't do, an audio only version.
That's true.
So
That's
yeah.
true. We might skip that part next time. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll
Shake it up.
We'll go back and cut that part out. We'll fix it in post.
Oh, those
It
days are
doesn't-
long
we don't-
gone.
We don't do that again.
There's no post.
I do not miss that. Oh my God. Ugh. Anyway,
I know, right? That was awful.
so well, we're happy to be here. We're happy you're here, and we're going to review a book that is way outside of anything we've read in quite a long time.
Mhm. Yeah.
But before we get to all that, let's kind of catch up. Sherry, what you drinking?
Hold on.
It's
Hold on.
cocktail hour show. That's how you catch up.
Carol's here.
Hey, Carol.
We should just make up names.
Oh,
we
we
should
could.
do that from
We can
now
do that.
on.
Yeah.
I'm Judy. Good to be here. I am drinking something very special today. Colette and her partner very graciously sent me some delicious, curious elixirs and a couple of other selections. These are non-alcoholic cocktail-like beverages, and they're all different kinds. If you're going to try them, if you don't drink alcohol, but you like something that's got a powerful taste, I highly recommend them. They're really good. I also recommend that you pour half in a glass and dilute with plain sparkling water.
Yeah, because that bottle is supposed to be 2 servings, but it sounds like you're making it at least 4.
Oh no, it is. I didn't even notice that. So yes, I just do like half of the bottle, and then it does end up being 2 servings. Now this is elixir or curious number 2. It's a spicy love child of the dark and stormy and the margarita.
Right? That's the one that I tried that I was like, yeah. And then I was like, no. And I poured half out and filled it with tequila. Although I guess I could have filled it with rum, right? Because dark and stormy is rum and ginger, and margarita.
I don't know. I'd never had a dark and stormy before.
Oh,
so,
well,
yeah.
you haven't lived until you have had your brother drink almost an entire bottle of dark rum, and then when you clean up the vomit, it's very spicy.
Let's not talk about vomiting. Seriously, I'm just getting.
Andy was really sick.
Oh, I was super sick, y'all.
So that's what I'm drinking, and it's very good, very good.
All right then. Colette, what you drinking?
I am drinking penicillin, which I think I've had before, right? Have I had that on this show before?
You may have. Yeah, it does sound familiar.
It's so friggin' good.
So what's in that?
So it is sort of a smoky rye, the same that I sent you, Andy.
I have
from Copper Fox.
Yep. That shit's delicious, by the way. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You drink that stuff straight.
Oh, super good. Lemon juice and Domaine de Canton, so ginger liqueur.
I could have made that. Damn it.
You could have made it. I will I'll send you the recipe that you can do it for next time or whenever. Because you've already committed to what you're drinking.
Yeah, I don't think mine would blend well.
Not if you want to stay away from that puking thing again.
Oh God. And I didn't even enjoy it. I'm just saying, I mean, at least
the puking.
No, enjoy what got you there. You know what I mean?
Oh,
a night of debauchery, and the next day you're paying for it. Okay, that's my bad. I paid for it. Not this time. Ugh.
Okay.
So what are you drinking, Andy?
I am drinking a red wine blend. That's my favorite now, as far as wines go. I like the blend.
Hey, you drink that regularly now.
I do. So this one is called Cloud Break Black Cloud. I don't even know where the hell I got it. Probably Aldi's, knowing me.
I'm guessing you got it from Aldi's.
Yeah.
Did you wrestle any old women for it?
Nope. There's plenty on the shelf. No wrestling required.
Well, that's even better.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
So
All right, I have pasted a link to the recipe.
I see it.
Now, this recipe calls for honey ginger syrup, but I just straight up used tomato canton because it is the jank.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
And this has a blended scotch and a single malt scotch. But if you look, so that's 2 1/4 ounces. Like, this drink does not play.
So if we think that you're red in the face now,
yeah, exactly.
Just wait till the end.
Wait until I've had 4 ounces of liquor by the end.
I'm scared of you.
I love it. This should be fun.
All right, so I saved it. I bookmarked it.
Okay.
I just want to say, I wanted to point out Andy's long, luxurious
I'm growing my hair out, y'all. Look at this. It's a hot mess. Woo, God. Sometimes I'll fling it over to the side to see how long I can get it to stay that way.
Well,
Will you do that? That would be awesome.
I was going to say you could grow it out and donate it, but I think you probably have too much gray, right? Don't they have like a
rude?
You can't have more than 10% gray or something. Like I can't donate either.
I don't have that much gray. I have a couple of streaks. I have a couple of streaks of it, but I'm not I don't. Yeah.
You don't have it like.
So you feel like you have less than 10% gray?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Come on, man.
Asshole.
That spot right there is the biggest one I have.
You should see the back though. It's like solid white.
It is not.
I'm hardly gray either. I don't know what the.
Oh, for crying out loud.
All right.
All right. So the novel that we read is Mary Jane, a novel, and it was written by Jessica Anya Blau. I'm assuming you say Blau. Anyway, Blau. And yeah, I didn't know anything about it when I started reading it, and I'm like, ooh, okay, this should be interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like Carol's talking about the amount of gray in your hair.
I think maybe. I think that's possible. That's what she's referring to.
Come on.
But yeah, I think I picked this book because I was emotionally exhausted just from life. And I wanted something a little lighter. So.
And then a whole bunch of more shit happened that made us postpone the last November and December.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I really needed a lighthearted read. So for those who don't know, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in November and then just kind of wigged out for a couple months. So everything's great now though. So everything's looking good.
It's very good.
She wouldn't change it if she could.
I wouldn't. Got a sexy scar on my boob. I've had more people touching and caressing my breasts in the last 2.5 months than I have in years. It's been glorious. Just glorious. Everybody's hands are nice and soft. Just nice petting motions. It's been great. Yesterday was the first time I'd had anybody look at my boob in almost a month, though.
I have to
really
say,
felt like I was missing it.
Yeah, my mammograms don't tend to involve the petting. So.
That came after, and then after I had my biopsy.
So they legit pet you?
Yeah, like they would like hold my breast and like just like move it around very gently.
Like it was Mr. Bigglesworth. Interesting.
Like they were just trying to make sure that the lump was the same.
I see.
But now I don't have it. They cut it out, so nobody pets my boobs anymore. I mean, except for
you seem sad.
I mean, you know.
Anyway,
I guess I am a little. But the book was good. Show's over.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so we all needed a break. We all needed something that had no murderers, no cannibals, no toilet sitters. We
Yeah.
needed something that was that was wholesome.
No
Right.
toilet sitters.
And I
And
mean,
this was good. It was good.
yeah, I feel like I picked this because it was highly rated, right? But also it takes place in 1975,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean is when I was growing up. So yeah. Let me
Yeah.
just I mean, should we give the synopsis first or
Sure.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
not? You got something pulled up there, Colette?
nope?
Oh.
I can do it.
I thought
Hold
she
on.
was ready to go.
Well, I mean, yes, if you count the penicillin cocktail recipe.
I mean, well, that's what's important, really.
Right?
Oh yeah,
Let me
you got
see.
yeah.
That's what I thought too.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Well, while you guys are looking for the synopsis, I wanted to mention that some of the things that that I read in that book reminded me a lot of growing up, and it was kind of funny because those were the days where seatbelts for kids, even for
It's amazing that we all live. Yeah.
I remember,
All right.
yeah, I remember those days very, very well. I mean, if dad hit the brakes too hard, you do the stop and pray, and then you go face first into the back of the
Right?
seat.
And there was probably like a bench seat.
Yeah.
Right? There was no missing the seat, right? It was just one huge back of a seat.
Yeah.
You would
And if
slam into. Yeah.
and if you didn't get catapulted into the front seat, you had this like little pink area right here where your chest hit.
Like, there weren't any car seats for babies. I mean, what?
Oh, that's what your
your
mother's lap was for.
your fucking baby, butch up, and
Yeah, I remember mom bringing Marcello home on her lap in the front seat. So
so you would just end up with like the Pontiac symbol or whatever embedded in your forehead.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's character building.
Yeah, my dad had that Lincoln Continental, white Continental with suicide doors. Remember those?
Ooh.
I wish he still had it, or at least somebody in the family still had it. We don't have it.
Well, I mean, it would probably get like 4 miles to the gallon.
Exactly.
What the fuck is going on?
What?
Oh, somebody's spamming us.
Aww.
So wow. Okay, that was kind of interesting. All right. So anyway,
was it something good or
no,
oh.
it was online strips without clothing.
Oh God. Well, that'll go into that'll kind of be appropriate when you start talking about penises later.
Yeah, there were a number of penises in this.
It's true. There were a lot. So the blurb for this on Goodreads is like 2 pages long. So I'll just read the very first part. Almost Famous meets Daisy Jones in the Six, which I still want to read, in this funny, wise, and tender novel about a 14-year-old girl's coming of age in 1970s Baltimore. Caught between her straight-laced family and the progressive family she nannies for, who happen to be secretly hiding a famous rock star and his movie star wife for the summer. And I think that that's really enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like a little slice of life book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, the premise is that Mary Jane is from a family that really reminded me of my family.
Oh my God!
Really?
Oh, completely.
I feel so bad for you, Colin.
Now,
Holy shit.
my mom wasn't an asshole like her mom, right? But there was very much an air of propriety that dictated everything, right? So, Mary Jane's family is Presbyterian. Her mother controls the music that she listens to, the church that they go to. She doesn't really go anywhere else or do anything else.
School,
Her
grocery
dad
shopping.
goes to a certain restricted country club.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, really she sort of spends her days with her mom learning how to cook and clean, because ultimately that is her lot in life.
Yep.
And then she ends up getting hired as a summer nanny for this family that is 180 degrees diametrically opposed to that, right? They're very liberal. The mother isn't terribly interested in cooking or cleaning because she doesn't want to be a housewife.
Mm-hmm.
They smoke a lot of dope. They drink a lot of booze. They don't go to the country club and golf because they would rather just hang out and sing rock songs and go to the beach and have their little girl color in her human anatomy coloring book.
Yeah.
More free spirits, which is diametrically opposed to the way Mary Jane's family is. And Mary Jane's father, I just wanted to like slap him, backhand him every once in a while as I was reading. I'm like, asshole. But
yeah, so that family has the doctor, the psychiatrist who is treating the rock star that's staying in his house, is Jewish. And then, of course, through all of this, Mary Jane comes to realize that her parents are really racist and really anti-Semitic.
Yep.
Things that never came up before because she's never really had a conversation with them about anything of import before, right? Like, so the part that made me laugh out loud, that felt exactly like my childhood, was when she was talking about menstruation, right? She's like, I've never talked to my family about having my period.
Yeah.
Just that one day under the sink.
Yeah. Just miraculously.
This belted maxi pad and all of the assorted apparatus just appeared. And every month it is replenished as though by underpants gnomes. And they've never talked about it, and they never will. And it was like, yeah, that was kind of my experience. Now, thank God, I didn't have like clips and straps and belts.
I did for my first one or two. That was what my mom gave me. Yeah, but that didn't last long. It was just like, okay, this is how you work this shit, and then we moved on.
Yeah, me too. That was awful. Oh. And then mom was like, well, let's try this. I'm like, no, let's not try that. So I'm like, let's try this. That's right over there.
Let's try that.
I remember asking about that stuff, and I was handed a pamphlet from like 1957.
What?
It was like, here you go, read up on it. If you have questions, don't come to me.
Oh, that's terrible.
Your mom handed you a pamphlet.
And I do want you to know that my mother was a nurse.
Well, that does explain why she had a pamphlet.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Because I can't imagine just, randomly, like someday my daughter's going to menstruate and I'm going to need something. I better hold on to this pamphlet.
I could totally see my mom doing that though.
Wow. So did you guys hug? Was there that touching?
You mean ever?
Yeah, no. like wow.
No. I distinctly remember coming back from vacation or something and going to see my parents, and my father shook my hand. So I want you guys to understand how emotionally stunted my whole family was.
Yikes.
Wow.
Yeah, we weren't huggers until after Dad died.
Wow.
So there was no I love you or any of that kind of stuff?
Oh.
Wow. I mean, my family was fucked up, but I mean, of course, in my family, there was a bit too much touching.
Yeah.
But I mean,
like
even
you win.
I don't want to win. I don't want to win, but I mean, but I always felt now it's just going to sound creepy, but I always felt, affection from, and love.
Appropriate affection. When,
I did still feel appropriate
Good.
affection also.
Good.
Yeah.
and I had a weird juxtaposition of the two. My mother's side of the family, they're more like probably Colette's side, right? My father's side of the family, they're all Italian. So it's like, pinching your cheeks, grabbing you up, just kissing all over you. You had to take your glasses off and clean them. Jesus! You never wanted to go around. So it was a weird combination of the two.
Yeah, no, I totally identified with Mary Jane and her family. I mean, other than the fact that I was not an only child, but the way that she related to her parents and the expectations that they had of her role in society and what was important and what she needed to learn. Like, you're going to need to learn how to cook and clean, because how else are you going to be a housewife, which is what you have in your future.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the difference with my mom and Mary Jane's mom is that my mom never really wanted that. Right?
So she didn't want kids or didn't want housewives?
I don't think she did want kids, right? She certainly wasn't good with kids. We'll just leave it at that. But whenever she would tell me something that sounded crazy to me, and I would say, well, why would you do that? And her answer was always the same. It was, well, that's what you did, dear.
And you talked about this many times before. And actually, when I was reading this and some of the stuff with her parents came up, I wanted to ask you how it compared to your mom, because that was right in that same time. And she seemed to, in many, like, I remember you saying, that's what you did, dear.
Yeah, that's how she went through the first 3 years of her marriage, eating Thousand Island dressing, because she had a husband who ordered for her and never asked her what she wanted.
That's such bullshit.
Like Thousand Island dressing, but that's pretty much how it went. I mean, women had a very constrictive and defined role in society, and this book captured that perfectly.
It did. It really did.
And there really was no sort of reaching beyond that. So it's really, and in the book, Mary Jane hanging out with this very liberal family with a little girl who colors penises in her coloring book, and these two famous people staying at the house for addiction treatment. This is like the first time that she's interacted with people who are openly affectionate and hug each other and kiss each other and tell each other that they love each other. And it's
have open marriages, smoke the devil's lettuce, don't care about cooking or cleaning.
And wear immodest clothing.
Oh yes, don't forget the immodest clothing. Holy cats.
I mean, so Mary Jane has to lie to her mother and tell her that Mrs. Cohn has cancer, and that's why she can't cook all the meals for the family, and that's why Mary Jane is cooking them, because it would never occur to Mary Jane's mother that the wife wouldn't cook all the meals, because that's what you did, dear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it goes. So it was funny in places, but in some places it was like, yeah.
There was a lot of places where it was like that, where going to one of the funny things is Mary Jane, who's 14 years old, just kind of discovering the world. Shortly after starting working for Dr. Cohn, immediately thought that she was a sex addict.
Oh, I love that. That made me laugh.
I had to look that up to see if that was actually a thing in 1975. And it was, surprisingly.
There was something that she said toward the end of the book that I can't remember what it was now, and I wasn't in a position to write it down. There was something that she said that that I really felt certain was not a thing yet. fuck, I can't remember what it was now, but anyway, yeah, and so her father says this prayer before, the grace before every meal, bless, good, thank you for my wife, my lovely wife, and my obedient child. God bless America. God bless President Ford and his family. And and they had a picture. This is old school. They had a picture, a framed photo of President Ford in their dining room.
Mm-hmm.
And she would, Mary Jane would look over at him and go, I bet he's a sex addict or some such.
Yeah, it was cute. It was cute.
Everything was a sex addict.
Yeah, her
Well,
discovering life outside of her Presbyterian bubble was fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she learned about sex addiction from the Cones, right? When she learned about addicts in general, because I think when she first started nannying there, she just pictured like the junkies on the street are addicts.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, lots of people can be addicts and there's lots of kinds of addiction. And as soon as she heard about being a sex addict, pretty much every time she had a sexual thought, which I mean, as a 14-year-old,
yeah, you have a lot.
It's happening. She's like, I'm a sex addict. And oh my God.
She was very concerned about her sex addiction.
She was.
So Mary Jane is leading this kind of double life. Her mom has no confidence in her abilities. Her mom feels, essentially like she's just some worthless 14-year-old girl who knows nothing, who doesn't do anything to the level that she should do it. She, like just talking about cooking or eating.
You use too much butter.
Yeah, too much salt. Yeah. So when she starts cooking for the Cones, because they don't cook at all, and she's like, "Oh, I'll cook. This would be awesome," because she wants to do this. This is what she's kind of been raised to do, and she's never allowed to do it. And here are these people who are so appreciative of what she does. And as the book goes on, I thought it was great that Mary Jane was able to finally see herself as other, not her parents, see her, a smart, capable young woman who, has a heart, a good heart filled with love. And, just the way that the adults and Izzy interact with her. And so I want to talk about Sheba for a minute.
Oh my.
So Sheba, who was kind of like a cross between Cher and Marie Osmond, right? So she started out with her on a variety show with her family, and then she dropped her last name, became a single name person, and had her own variety show. She's a singer, actress, long black hair, beautiful, striking woman.
Like beloved by everybody,
Yeah, right. And Mrs. Cone. So, by the way, this is a Jewish family whose last name is spelled Cone, instead of, and I'm sure that it was brought up by Mary Jane's parents. I'm sure it used to be Cohen, and somebody changed it to make it more Americanized. So, Mrs. Cone had dreamed of being the wife of a rock star. And when she met Dr. Cone, he was in a rock band and then became a psychiatrist. And so I think Mrs. Cone just kind of always felt a little like she got bait and switched, like I'm going to be the wife of a rock star. Oh, now I'm the wife of a psychiatrist. So when Sheba and Jimmy is like the opposite of Sheba, right? Sheba just loves the limelight and the attention and the love. And her mom was a lot like Mary Jane's mom. Very, very straight-laced and down on Sheba. So Mrs. Cone, Bonnie, when Sheba shows up, she's like, I want your life. This is who I want you to be. Oh, Jimmy. And Jimmy's this introvert who just wants to play his music. He doesn't want to be around in the crowds. He does. And the heroine is how he dealt with that. He doesn't want to deal with any of those things. He just wants to make music, and that's it. So you've got young Mary Jane, who's never been exposed to anything outside of her little bubble, now is seeing, you know, all of these bodies, and no one was inappropriate with her.
No.
So that was nice. That was, again, was completely different than other things that we read. No one touched her inappropriately. No one forced drugs on her. No one did anything bad to anybody. I mean, you had some adult relationship drama, but
You did.
but that was the, you know, and everything that we get is from Mary Jane's 14-year-old perspective, which is kind of refreshing.
Yeah,
you know?
it was. I thought the pacing was a little slow when I started reading it. I'm like, oh, I hope this picks up. And by the time, and granted, it might have been where I was in my head at that point. I'm not going to blame it on the story, but I would say it took about a good third of the way into the book before I finally started appreciating the rhythm and the story. But it took a little while for me to actually settle down and actually enjoy it.
Yeah, I think for me, I didn't really start to get vested in it until her double life kind of developed, and she had one set of reality that she was sharing with her parents, and then a separate set of reality, like that she just couldn't wait to get back to the second family that she had, because it was so exciting and she felt so appreciated, and
she was included in everything. You know, they didn't want to do anything without her, and when she wasn't there, they missed her, and they told her so. You know, and her, when she was home, her parents didn't talk to her. Her father treated her like she was a piece of shit on his shoe. You know. I'm sorry, go ahead. That just bothered me. He was such a douche.
That for me, that was when it really started to get interesting, because it, you know, obviously the conflict was developing, and how is this going to get resolved? And I can tell you, I don't know how spoilery we want to get, but so the Cone family goes off to the beach for a week. I think they go to Rehoboth Beach. And Mary Jane goes with them because they want her to be there. And I can't remember what she tells her parents, so that I guess, you know,
they wind up talking to him before they let her go.
Right. But I mean, so we're still deep into the lie that Mrs. Cone has cancer and therefore can't care for the family. So she needs to go. And as soon as they went to a record store, record stores, oh my God, I miss them. As soon as they went to a record store and people were like, oh my God, it's Sheba and Jimmy. Oh, well, everybody come and take pictures. I was like, oh, well, this is going to end up in the paper, because A, there used to be newspapers, and B, when famous people showed up somewhere, like that made the paper. Like that was a thing.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, I totally saw it coming from a mile away.
Sure. Sheba was missing all that adulation, and Jimmy wasn't.
Yeah. So it was just a matter of time before the parents saw the pictures of her with these rock stars, pop stars, that of course are junkies. Isn't that the word that they use? Junkies?
In the bad area of town. Don't forget that.
Right.
It was the black area.
Right. They were at a black record store. Oh my God. They don't have real records, or whatever it was that Mary Jane's mom said. They can't possibly have regular records.
Like
like
what do you mean they have classical music and whatever?
She's like, they have a whole area of opera and classical, and we watch show tunes.
And she was like, don't you lie to me.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did.
And that was when Mary Jane's like, holy shit, my family is so fucking racist.
She should have known that they were racist when they were having the country club conversation about which country club do the Cones go to. I mean,
black people knowing their place.
Yeah,
right.
that would have sealed it.
But I don't remember her using the word racist until that later part.
Yeah.
And why is he kissing you? He wasn't kissing me. And, I loved how Jimmy and Sheba would show up in church to hear her sing,
Yeah, I got a big old smile on my face. Yeah.
There's, so the book came out in May of last year. So
let's not do this.
I mean, and it's not like this, like it's a big mystery or, some kind of murder. So
the end was a nice payoff though. Let's not ruin it for somebody that wants to read it.
Okay. All right. Because I really did. That made me feel good.
There is a point where Mary Jane's parents find out that she's been lying.
Yes. And then she's in house jail.
House jail.
Oh, can we talk about the narration? So you guys listen solidly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I listened to over half, and then I read the ebook for the last bit.
Yeah.
And I wished I had been able to finish the ebook. I wish I would have been able to finish the book, the last part, to hear the narrator sing that last song.
Yeah. Well, the narrator didn't sing the last song.
She didn't?
No, somebody else did.
Somebody else did.
No way.
They actually made a song out of it. Yeah, they did.
Oh, okay. I'm glad we're talking about that because I'll go ahead and listen to it.
You do. You really need to. And it takes a long break between the end of the story and then the song playing. So don't think the story's over when you listen to the audiobook. Just keep going until you hear this has been an audible recording, whatever the hell it is at the end. Keep listening because then you're going to hear the actual song done by
yay! Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
Now, I mean, I do have to say that it's supposedly a #1 song.
Yep.
Yes. So when I read,
remember in the 70s, little weird shit did make #1.
Come on, but that wouldn't have been. Come on, 1975, right? So there would have been Elton John and Queen and Led Zeppelin.
Well, they had Little Feat. I mean, they actually talked about some of the groups in the 70s and during this.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was funny that when she went to the record store, that I guess she had never been to a record store, which hurt my heart. Like she couldn't tell from picking up the albums what was the name of the band and what was the name of the album because band names were so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it was nice that they do it up like a 70s song.
Yeah, they did.
That's awesome. That's
like,
but it would not have been #1.
Aerosmith B side, maybe. I don't know, but they definitely try to make it like a 70s song for sure.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So, like I read, when they're listening to the radio and that song comes on. And it's the Casey Kasem show. Yeah. And I was reading it. So in my head, it was,
you could hear him.
This is Casey Kasem. Jimmy from Baltimore, Maryland, blah, 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 or Pittsburgh. And it was all totally in Casey Kasem's voice. And I kind of felt bad for the younger folks who never got to hear any of that because then they were just reading it. But they probably wouldn't read this book and get as much out of it anyway. Yeah, so if you're in your late 40s to my 60s, right, then I think you'll really like this because it's just you really.
Didn't Casey Kasem, didn't he do the voice for Shaggy or Scooby or something?
Yeah,
I think he did Shaggy. Yeah.
Is it Shaggy?
Yeah.
So you probably heard Casey Kasem's voice, even if you didn't know.
But
yeah, his commentary was legendary before songs. And I think the author did a really good job at showing how long and protracted some of those
and I'm like a page and a half, 2 pages. So
you guys have heard the outtake of him yelling at the production team, right? For
No.
Oh my God! Tell me he wasn't a horrible racist bastard.
no. I don't, well,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. So
Maybe.
I'll just say it's possible that he was.
Oh.
But no, there's an outtake of him. Like he goes through this long because for those who don't know, so Casey Kasem used to read letters, right? There were long distance dedications that he used to do, right?
Mhm.
And people would write in and they'd have these emotional stories, and he'd be like, okay, so for you, here's Penny Lover or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But there was one where he read a story about somebody whose dog died, and then they had to go like immediately into this upbeat. They cut to the song and they left the recording on, and he's like, God damn it, how many times have I told you, don't give me a story about somebody's dead dog and then make me introduce a song that's some fucking dance song. Like he just goes off.
No, I never
It
heard
seems
that.
valid though.
Yeah, I mean, you guys
Yeah.
could probably, look it up on YouTube and hear it
I've had enough of Casey Kasem.
for your life.
Forever. I do not need to hear
Forever.
him anymore.
Well, it turns out that everyone else has too, because
And what's that other goofball that was on the radio that I just
Rick Dees.
No,
No?
not to do with music.
Oh.
He was like not the Rush Limbaugh of his time, but he was definitely a right
also
wing.
dead. May I
Wait.
just add?
What's his name? Paul. What the hell was his
Oh,
name?
Paul Harvey? He
Yeah,
wasn't
that guy.
anything. He was not a Rush Limbaugh. He just said, and now the rest of the story.
Yeah, my mother used to have that on the radio all the time.
My grandma listened to that all the time. I like, what's wrong with Paul Harvey?
Wow.
Have you listened to anything since you've gotten to be an adult?
No. He's
Go back
been
and
dead.
listen. Just go back and pick one up and listen to it.
Well, now I don't want to. I don't want to listen to that for myself.
What's
Yeah.
wrong with him?
Oh, he's.
Like, I have no frame of reference for this.
Yeah, I'll tell you offline.
Have you listened to Paul Harvey? No? Oh,
No.
All right, then.
No.
All right, well, it doesn't matter.
No,
Paul
so
Harvey
if
does
you
not
guys
appear.
told me that he was, molesting babies in his basement.
Oh God, not that I know of.
Okay, all right. So
Well,
I feel
now
like
he's not so bad, is he?
that's the memory that I have for 2022. I just want y'all to know that, right? So it's like, oh, so he was a good guy.
Our standards have become so low. It's
They
so
have.
Well-
There was one part in this book where a naked Izzy, because she's the 70s and little kids ran
And she's
around
like,
naked.
what? How old is she? 5, 4? How old is she?
4 or 5, something
Yeah.
like that.
Little.
And she's sitting on Jimmy's lap. Jimmy never wears shirts or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
here's this naked little girl sitting on this grown man's lap. And of course, I'm like, get her off of that man's lap.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't do anything, and he
Oh, yeah.
never even considered it because he wasn't a fucking pervert. We
Yeah.
just expect that now.
Yeah,
know?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like part of it is probably our own fault, right? Because we spend a lot of time watching and reading stuff about horrible serial killers.
Isn't that the truth? Oh my
It's
God,
true.
that's like all I
Yeah.
watch these days. Like true crime channels. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Did you-
I don't even do that anymore.
Did you guys watch the special on, was it Hulu, about the Southern California serial killers? Like, I had no idea that there was like 52 of them all happening at the same time.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
What show is this?
Yeah, what show is this?
I thought I posted it to Discord. It's
Oh, you probably did.
it's a series. It's a
Oh
series.
yeah. I
Or maybe
remember.
4.
I didn't watch it. Yeah.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of-
I think I put
One
it
of
on my list.
the more famous, obviously, is the Hillside Strangler. But
Yeah,
while
yeah,
the Hillside Strangler was happening, there were all of these other friggin' serial killings in Southern California. And of course, Laura is from Southern California. So we're watching this together, and she's just like, right?
Well,
So she was like, oh, yeah, I've been there. You know, it's that kind of a thing, right? But yeah, I think part of it is brought on ourselves because we have spent a lot of time with some like super fucked up perps. And
Yeah.
even the fiction that we read a
Yeah.
lot of the time is about super fucked up perps, but we
Yeah.
read a lot of nonfiction about them, and then we watch a lot of movies about
Yep.
them. And
Yep.
so there you are. Here's this dude at a beach house wearing just cut off shorts with a naked little girl in his lap, and we're immediately like,
I know, we're all like,
but
Get
actually,
her off.
it was fine.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
It was
was
refreshing, I must say.
not
could-
that
It was
we
a very
don't spend
wholesome
some
book.
time seeing and talking about that guy's penis, because we do, but it has nothing to do with that little girl.
No,
No.
yeah. But there was a lot of penis talk.
There's a lot of penis.
Well, only
talk.
because Mary Jane is a sex addict.
That's
I love how
true.
she confesses that in group. That was, and I don't want to give too much away, but the other thing I tickled pink about was when Sheba would flip the bird off at somebody's house every time she went by,
Yeah.
and she hoped that Mary Jane kept up with the,
Kept up
the
the
action.
tradition.
in the future.
Yeah.
You guys,
it just
listen to the book; you'll understand all.
it was so nice to watch this young woman just kind of blossom under the affection and respect
Mhm.
of these in their own way kind of fucked up adults,
Quirky,
but they were
yeah.
never fucked up toward her.
Mm-mm.
And they never showed her anything other than love and acceptance and
Yep.
encouragement. And
Yep.
And of course, we're getting all of this from her point of view, so we don't know what was going on in their heads or anything like that, but it all felt good. And I felt happy for Mary Jane that she was not only able to see, I think in a way, I think she's really started to see that her mom was not happy.
Yeah.
Which
is
that her
father. I love the end, but we don't want to
Yes.
talk about it.
No, we won't talk about the end.
Yeah.
I love
really
that
sweet.
too.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I almost had a tear in my eye.
Yeah, I finished the book just smiling. It was, I just felt so good. And we don't read a lot of books that, we finish and it's just like, oh, damn, that felt good.
Yeah,
it was
it's
like
kinda
a
like,
balm to my soul.
Remember
Yeah.
when he wore that other guy's face? Like, what kind of book?
Good
Do you remember?
times.
Yeah, do you remember that part where that kid was murdered on the bridge and
Remember
somebody
where
had
he
eaten
ate
part
him?
of his ass? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was just
Yeah.
worth
Really
the
vivid.
cockles of my heart.
Really
Yeah.
vivid.
It
Yeah,
was good.
so
It was good.
this was a nice palate cleanser.
Yeah, it was. Good way to start off the new year. I
Yeah,
must
and
say.
I don't know if we need like a year of palate cleansers, if that'll make us better people or not. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are into that or not.
Well, I overcompensate at work, so I always try to make my
that
customers.
balance.
Yeah, I try to make my, I try to help my customers and try to make them happy. That's my big goal, to help them help themselves. And so I flip to really the other side for them. So
you're saying that this month you've been
You've been a total asshole to everybody.
No, what I mean is I balance the shitty, scary stuff with overcompensation on the other end. So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need a palate cleanser, although this was a very good one.
I'm looking at
Good.
so I'm trying
because
hard
I can't
this
remember
year.
the last book that I picked that you guys liked.
That can't be true.
No, it's not
That
true.
can't be true.
Well, I mean, it can be true that I don't remember what it was.
That can be true, yeah.
Yeah.
That can
well,
be
Peter
true.
Gwynn, he's got
Yeah.
a new book out, doesn't he? I like his style.
I thought we were going to try and do something nice again.
Okay, we can. All right, We can do something nice again. I'm good with that.
Okay.
I mean, we could ask viewers to recommend books that don't have anybody wearing somebody else's face or any kind of molestation, and then we can see what they come up with.
Don't hold your breath. They don't hardly ever comment.
Well, okay,
and that's okay by me.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I don't want nobody telling me what to do.
No. Yeah, exactly. We'll figure out something. Maybe we can.
No, my Kindle quit working.
Is it almost a foregone conclusion that like young adult novels are?
There's going to be a vampire?
No. That there might be more of like the Mary Jane type things, or is that just?
I've read a few young adult that I didn't actually know were young adult, and I kind of like them.
Well, I mean, all of kind of like the one we did about the daughters of the.
Yeah,
I cannot remember the name.
That was kind of an irritating book, the way it was put together, but the story was fun.
Right, but we got all the way through that before I realized it was a young adult book.
Yeah.
Is that the one where the women were kick ass?
Yeah, there was like Sherlock
there were like the
daughter and
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Did we read the book Ash? Oh, Melinda Lowe's book, Carol? Because I've been wanting to read that. I think Carol and I have actually maybe talked about that. Yeah. So maybe we look at that. It's a retelling of Cinderella.
Oh.
Like there's Ash, and then there's
Cinderella,
Huntress.
the woman who is basically abused by her stepmother and her stepsisters, and ended up in the basement and forced to be a servant.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. No,
but they don't wear anybody's face. So.
Well, I mean, not that I'm aware of.
Well, I wasn't sure what our criteria was. That's where we're drawing.
Those books have been around. Those books have been around for forever.
Is that the one? Wait a minute. What's the title of the book?
Ash.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. There is it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling.
Are you thinking about what's her name?
Died of cancer. The hell's
vampire.
Anne Rice?
No, not her.
Oh.
Yeah, because those are all erotica, I think.
I got the book over here, damn it.
Okay. You're dressed very patriotically.
These are my
it's Bart Simpson.
These are my Ralph Lauren lounge pants.
Oh.
They got the horses all over them. Yeah. I'll look her up later. But she did a couple of books, and one of them was the Beauty and the Beast retelling. Which one?
We can talk to the Huntress is another. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. She's done a few. I've got a couple of thoughts too, and this year I'm trying to do books that I've had for a while. I'm trying not to buy new books, but I mean I've already broken that a little bit.
You almost got through January.
I felt better because I bought them at like half price books for $3. I bought. I bought a Tana French book.
Oh.
Who I've not read.
Been to Better World Books?
I am unfamiliar with this.
So they have some new books, but they also have a lot of used books that they have taken as donations, and they make donations for every book that you buy. So Better World Books. You should check it out.
I will. I just made a note. So you can buy online?
Yep. That's kind of all they do.
Oh, nice.
I went to that really old, I guess the oldest bookstore in LA.
Oh.
Downtown way back in the day when I visited back in 2014. And wow, that was really a cool experience. I actually liked LA a lot, but too expensive.
the coolest bookstore I ever got to go to is when I was in Portland. We went to Powell's, and I could just fucking live there. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find.
I remember the biggest. I don't remember the name of it, but one of the biggest record stores I was ever in was in San Francisco. Because up until, all the record stores that I ever went to were either attached to a mall, an indoor mall, or you might get a freestanding building on like the mall premise, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in San Francisco, we went to this record store, and this thing was huge. It looked like a giant warehouse, and it had escalator. Music was everywhere. I just can't imagine that if whatever you were looking for, no matter how eclectic, it would have been there. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's like the 3-story Tower Records that I went to.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I really miss Tower Records, and just
building.
record stores in general.
Yeah.
My son is really into. He's building his vinyl collection. And he's got an incredibly eclectic taste. So that's what we do now for holidays. And we went to Half Price Books, and he picked himself out a couple of albums. I think one of them was Herb Alpert.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's like all over the place. So yeah.
All right. Is it Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass?
Yeah, I think he bought the one with the lady with the whipped cream on her. I can't remember the name of that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Something and Other Delights, right?
Something like that. Yeah. But and then he has another one with Herb Alpert and another trumpet player that he picked up. So I don't. Yeah.
Remember back like when this book took place, where there were frequently songs in the top 10 that were instrumental.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long has it been since we've had an instrumental song at the top of the charts? Like, I'm thinking Chuck Mangione. I'm thinking
Santana. Didn't Santana have something in the last decade
where no one sang?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of.
It's
possible. It's not like I'm glued to the radio anymore.
Yeah,
I'm too busy screaming, at talk radio. But yeah. And then what was the one? Well, I guess Baker Street wasn't legit an instrumental, right? Because at some point they actually sing.
They do.
Yeah. There's quite a bit of singing in that.
But the 70s was probably the pinnacle of the saxophone. What the hell were we doing with saxophones? Why?
So much
saxophone.
And then, God forbid, if you ever go to like a jazz bar in the evenings, you got that 2-drink cover, and all you hear is saxophone. I swear to God.
Yeah, I feel like I reached my maximum density on saxophone probably somewhere around 1978 or 79.
Oh, so you didn't do Kenny? You didn't do the Kenny G thing?
No. No.
I was a big Kenny G fan when he first started out. Well, I was listening to Kenny G and Anita Baker and
I liked Anita Baker.
Vandross, and it was all kind of that sexy.
Music to get busy to.
Yeah. Well, TJ and I had just pretty much started, we had just gotten together within the, that year or two around that time. So, it was,
Was that the Flock of Seagulls look at that point, or was that later?
Yeah, that's what she had, that Flock of Seagulls haircut. Yeah.
I love that.
That's absolutely it. Yeah. That's absolutely
I saw them live.
Did you?
Now, I didn't care if I saw them live because they opened for the Police.
Oh,
love
okay.
that.
I saw them live, and they were not good.
I feel like I'm not surprised.
They just had the one song, right? Like that's like
no, they had more than one. Didn't they? They had Iran, right?
Right.
And then they had but then they had another one
called.
They had at least one. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, they all sounded exactly like that song. And then, of course, they waited to the very end to play I Ran. And it was like, could you just go ahead and run then? Because I really want to.
Because we're done.
Oh my God, that's so wrong. I love it. All right. Well, it's the top of the hour. So I want to say thank you all for joining us. We hope you enjoy this show as much as we did. We had a good time.
We did.
We did.
Oh,
see, it's definitely
you are a little rosy.
I was rosy when I started. So
that's not rosacea.
I don't know.
Well, she's got penicillin, so if it's something that can help,
that'll cure it.
There you go. All right. Well, hopefully we won't be away as long as we were this past hiatus, but life happens. You know how it goes.
It does. For all of you who thought we were just going to ghost away, we're back.
No, we wouldn't do that to you. We'd at least tell you. We're fucking done. No.
We're done.
With the table.
All right. Well, until next time, y'all take it easy. Have a happy and safe New Year, and we'll see y'all again.
Yeah. Be good.
All right. Bye.